going on? Gerald Fernando here. Welcome back to Walk and Talk with Gerald, the talk show where I explore New York City and find fun and inspiration in theater, indie film, emerging creators, and nightlife. I am so excited to wrap up the first installment of my new series entitled Hot Theater Picks, where I spotlight a musical about Star Wars, or why Star Wars is the greatest thing to ever happen in the history of the galaxy, much, much better than Star Trek. I am so excited to share my amazing interview with the co-creators of the show, Taylor Crousore, who is also currently the star, and Scott Richard Foster. Take a look.
First and foremost, this is Star Wars, and as the poster says, a musical about Star Wars.
A musical about Star Wars, now playing at the AMC Theater, is a hilarious homage to George Lucas' space opera saga and the legacy that lives on. It sets itself galaxies apart from standard parody by loving its source material, using series tropes as a springboard to celebrate its nerd culture and even wickedly satirize the musical theater world. First premiering in New York City in 2019, a musical about Star Wars strikes back here off-Broadway and audiences are loving it.
A musical about Star Wars, now playing at the AMC Theater. I had the best time at this show, super funny. It takes Off-Broadway to a whole new level, just so many laughs, and I am so excited to be graced with the presence by one of the stars and co-book writers, Taylor Crousore. Taylor Crousore.
Hi, I didn't make him say any of this, I promise.
No, I promise, yes. This is not paid for by Taylor Crousore. And I also have one of the co-book writers, Scott Richard Foster.
That's me. That's me. I did make him say this. Yeah. I paid him good money to say it.
Yes. I'm so excited to be in their presence. This is such a fun show. I just want to congratulate you on this. How does it feel to be in this reopening? I know that it closed because of COVID and everything, but how does it feel to be back, Taylor?
It feels great. The weird part of it is that, like, Scott isn't in the show now, but I'm playing Scott in the show. But besides all that, what's been great about it is we had this idea between me, Scott, and Tom. Well, they had this idea. They pulled me into it. Almost 5 years ago to create a show about Star Wars, a musical about Star Wars. And it's really awesome when you can look back and see every step along this journey that we've been to get it to where it is now, and to see people still just as excited about the show, the response it gets. And to be able to do that with your friends, it's an amazing thing.
And to call it a parody musical is a complete understatement. The way that it really captures the world of Star Wars and parody. It's not just a shot-for-shot parody of the show, like in the sense of like an Airplane or a Naked Gun. There's so many parody musicals out there, but you really set yourselves apart. What was your intention behind it, Scott?
So quite literally, it came from another show that was called Musical that Tom Dangora was producing. Yeah, I was in it at the time and wrote a song for that was about how much of a Star Wars nerd I am, along the lines of like Gangsters in Paradise. I don't know if you remember that song. We've been living most our lives. Yeah, exactly. So then, right. So then the crowd loved it so much that Tom comes to me, says, I think we should do a show about how much you love Star Wars. And I said, great. And he said it should be like an Abbott and Costello show. And I was like, great. Who should the other person be? And almost identically, like almost at the same time, we both said Taylor. And so we brought Taylor in, and the three of us came up with this this complete like weird plot about what the show would be, that we didn't want it to do a parody. We wanted to just talk about how much we love Star Wars and then put a bunch of nerd references in there.
Yes.
It was super important for us as we kind of came, because literally we all come from like a kind of a sketch comedy background.
Yeah.
So like, so
improv.
And improv. So the
Weren't
three of
you
us.
in Forbidden Broadway?
Yeah, we both. I was
Forbidden
actually. My first job was I was Scott's understudy at Forbidden Broadway.
His first, your first on-stage gig off Broadway was filling
for
in
you
for me.
because you had to go with the family to Disney World.
Yes.
It was my first time ever. It was amazing. But so Scott would write a Star Wars sketch. And then, I would write a Star Wars sketch, and we would it kind of became this thing. And then we were like, well, the show should literally be a musical about Star Wars. And that's where it became very meta, very silly, and it became our three perspectives. The Star Wars fandom can be so divided, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we also embrace within the show, is that we give those moments where someone's like, well, I like this movie, or I only like this movie. Oh, but you know what, that line we have, it's like, hey, but you know what? it's still Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. Like you're right. But it's still Star Wars, and that's kind of what we embrace.
And Taylor, when I read your energy on stage, you look like you're having so much fun. Does it feel like work to you?
When we do a 2-show day sometimes. So, it's one of those things where performing for me is just an outlet to get it all out. And so because, we've been playing these exaggerated versions of ourselves, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like work once I'm home and tired. Then I'm like, oh, I did this thing today. But I think that's the other amazing thing that we created was like to get to play this goofy caricature of yourself with your friends is an amazing gift. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And your affection for Star Wars, your love for it, it's so infectious, so contagious. It just makes me appreciate the series more. I want to play one thing. I just want to say congratulations to you. I understand that you got engaged.
Yeah!
Congratulations to you. And everyone might know Taylor's beautiful fiance. So the lovely Kristen Alderson, come on in here.
She's in everywhere!
Sit in my seat. Come over here. Alright, I want you to sit next to each other because I love you too. I love your love.
Let me switch with you, Dad. Here.
Alright.
And I'll get over there.
Alright, so power couple is such a cliche, but I feel like that's an understatement when I see the two of you together. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we all know who Kristen Alderson is. She played Starr Manning for 15 years on One Life to Live.
Yes.
You were so good in that show, so iconic, and I'm just so happy for the two of you. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're so excited.
Yeah, I have no words. When you meet someone and you just know it right away. Like, on our first date, actually, we were here on our first date, and
we surprised
here at West Bank.
Our boss Tom that actually we know each other at all.
She had to go back to Philadelphia that night, so her car was parked next door. And as we were saying goodbye, we started to kiss a little, and then all of a sudden I blurted out, "I love you." And you don't normally say that on the first
We had been
date.
talking for a month and a half prior.
But it's how I felt,
So,
and I was not ashamed of it. And here we are now, 2 years later, engaged.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And just one question for you, because you both have musical theater backgrounds, and what is it like to be a couple both doing the same thing? Like, is it like, are you just so supportive of each other? Like, I just want to know what it's like to stay in the life of your lives.
Well, I think what's so great is that we can relate to each other, and then whenever, we're just so excited.
I'm sorry.
This is our child.
Continue.
So
sorry, this is our elderly AARP child.
Oh, God.
Alright, continue, please.
I just think we support each other, through thick and thin, and we understand, when times are tougher, when they're great, and then,
I think a lot of people say, oh, it's so hard to date another actor or actress, but with egos, but work aside, this is my best friend, and so it's the work part doesn't matter because I'm always going to support whatever job it is she's doing, whether it isn't performing or not, and vice versa. So, she went and filmed something in Los Angeles a couple months ago, and so she had to go and do that, and of course, we'll make that happen. So there's always
and then you're away on weekends, traveling to work,
but
and
we're also
so,
lucky that we know Tom and Michael, and they've been able to allow
shows together.
We've done musical together.
Oh, good, by the way, Marvelous Wonder Women were amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And I actually saw the pilot of the launch you were in. You were so good in that too.
Oh, thanks. I hope something happens with Milan.
I have faith in that. It's so funny, and if you're a soap opera fanatic, it's really a good show. You're just good in it, and you're just a seasoned professional. So that's just you can wake up and be a soap opera star. You're just so amazing.
Well, there might be a cameo down there. There have been times. It doesn't happen often, but Kristen does know this show, Star Wars, our Star Wars show. And when we were in Las Vegas, she did go on to the role of Emily, and it's quite amazing.
So maybe down the line, I'll do a show. Yeah, that would be fun.
I just love seeing you and everything you do. You're so amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, and I'm so
proud of you.
He's just he's so insanely talented.
We're all very happy.
Yes, very happy.
All right.
Oh, and you too. Come on in.
And of course, be with Off-Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Now playing at the AMC Theater. Check it out.
Guess who's special guest starring tonight and tomorrow in a musical about Star Wars? See Emmy Award winner Kristen Alderson step into the role of Emily tonight at 8 p.m. or tomorrow at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Get your tickets today by visiting musicalaboutstarwars.com or call 646-543-4385 or swing by the AMC Theater at 354 West 45th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues. Box office opens 1 hour prior to showtime.